In 1954, large portions of the United States had racially segregated schools made legal by Plessy v. Ferguson, which held that segregated public facilities were constitutional so long as the black and white facilities were equal to each other. However, by the mid-20th century, civil rights groups set up legal and political challenges to racial segregation. In the early 1950s, NAACP lawyers brought class action lawsuits on behalf of black school children and their families in Kansas, South Carolina, Virginia, and Delaware, seeking court orders to compel school districts to let black students attend white public schools. One of these class actions, Brown v. Board of Education, was filed against the Topeka, Kansas School Board by Representative Plaintiff Oliver Brown, parent of one of the children denied access to Topeka's white schools. It really saddens me that my daughter got denied access to Topeka's white schools. This racial segregation violated the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause because the black and white schools aren't equal and won't ever be unless this changes. This court case first started out at the U.S. District Court for the District of Kansas. The court found that segregation has a negative effect on black children, but it decided that segregated schools did not violate the 14th Amendment because facilities, transportation, teachers, and other factors were equal. Brown case is combined with others from Virginia, South Carolina, and Delaware and bypasses the circuit court. It is then taken to the Supreme Court of the United States. Ruling determined that segregated schools are inherently unequal and violate the 14th Amendment. The case was then re-argued to determine how the violation of the 14th Amendment should be fixed. The Supreme Court of the United States declared that schools should be desegregated with all deliberate speed. Because of Chief Justice Earl Warren, the court spoke in a unanimous decision written by Warren himself. The decision held that racial segregation of children in public schools violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, which states, "No state shall make or enforce any laws which shall deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the law."
Segregation of white and colored children in public schools has a detrimental effect upon the colored children. The impact is greater when it has the sanction of the law, for the policy of separating the races is usually interpreted as denoting an inferiority of the Negro group. Any language in contrary to this finding is rejected. We conclude that in the field of public education, the doctrine of separate but equal has no place. Separate educational facilities are inherently unequal. Order in the court. I find it unconstitutional that schools be segregated. This violates the Equal Protection Clause, and this overrules Plessy v. Ferguson.
Since Brown v. Board, this has changed in today's history because now there is no segregation in schools and there's equal opportunities for all races.
The precedent set by Brown v. Board of Education is that separate but equal is unconstitutional and does not give a fair opportunity to all students.
It don't matter if you're black or